Talk about branding for a second, and this could be a bit controversial for the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
Hey!
Bonnie, clip it, Bonnie.
A logo is only as strong and as good as the story is connected to. I believe the strongest logo and the strongest personal brand that has lasted for 2,000 years is Jesus Christ. The cross is the logo. And you see a young man or a young woman with a cross around their neck, and automatically it signals what? A certain type of behavior, a certain type of ethics, a certain type of belief. Yeah. If you see a logo, a Nike logo, on a really unhealthy person,
yeah, he's been to Bali.
You can wear that as a fashion piece, but does that logo stand for that behavior? Yeah. It doesn't discriminate. Maybe it's like anyone can buy our stuff if you can afford it, but the ideal of this Nike logo is high performance, the best. LeBron, Jordan. For the cross, it represents, it's meant to represent forgiveness and a man who came to heaven or earth to be able to help save the world, right? And died for what he believed in. Whether the person who wears that cross on their neck is behaving in that way is another thing. Whether the person wearing the Nike shoes or not is exercising the way that it was made for, that's another thing. But isn't it just so profound that the symbol is nothing without the story? It's just a cross. It's just literally a plus signal.
Oh, it's
a plus signal where he forgot to lift his fucking pen.
Yeah,
it's extremely basic if left without the story.
Yeah,
like everyone got. That's how one of the cruelest ways.
That's a great. Well, I've never heard anyone explain that before. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah, and I believe that with Virgin and Branson. I believe that with Gates and Microsoft. I believe that with Boris and Yellow Brick Road. I believe that with Beachley and what she's doing. It always is as strong as the story it's connected to. And whether you have a personal brand representing that story or you have to borrow people's stories and pay them to use it, Nike are credible. I break personal branding into two areas: credibility and relevance. You can be relevant but not credible. You can have heaps of followers on social media. You can be in maths for a while and be popular. I don't respect you because you haven't built shit. You haven't built anything to actually earn that. So you got to use that attention, that relevance to build something credible. And credible is when you have awards, when you have built solid business that regardless if you're known or not, I'm successful in my own right, but one needs the other because you can be credible but not known. Like a great singer in an empty stadium. And you can be relevant but not credible, and you're living gig to gig. You're not an entrepreneur if you don't have an offering like that. If you're an influencer and you have lots of followers, you don't have an offering, you're not an entrepreneur. You're just living gig to gig. So we need both. And there's really three things I believe that people aren't successful. They're really not successful because there's three things. One, you're not good enough. So your marketing's not good enough. Your offering's not good enough. Your service isn't good enough. Or you're not known enough. So people aren't aware of you. You could be good enough but not known enough. And the last thing, and the third thing is, you're not clear enough. It's not clear why you're different. It's not clear of your offer. It's not clear your value proposition. Your message is terrible. Most people's messages are so unclear. They couldn't tell me why they're different from their competitor. Why Ray White over McGrath? What's the difference? They both sell bloody houses and stuff. You know what I mean? Why McDonald's why Pepsi over Coke? These big brands have nailed that difference through story, through all these things that aren't as copyable.
Yeah. You can copy the shape and the logo and stuff, but
and the
really,
colours.
and the colours and stuff.